Usually I come here with a story or maybe a motivational piece or something like that. But tonight we're going to teach a little bit. And what I want to talk about, we're all business people. We own businesses or we work for a business, right? And the question I ask is, what is the difference between those who achieve at a very high level and those who don't? Mindset, goals, and your approach to life. So these are the three pieces. If you can master these three pieces, mindset, writing goals, and your approach to life, you're going to succeed at a very high level, right? I guess the industry or history says or numbers suggest the toughest of the three to master is the mindset. That's the toughest to master. And what they talk about is life is a journey from the inside out. Most of us are society that believes in conformity, which is what, like Dan made a comment, a 97% number. There's only 3%, the number suggests only 3% of society engage in personal growth, engage in self-development, engage in mastering their life, right? Only 3% do that, right? So most of those people are conforming to outside resources. They're outside people, outside thought processes, outside energy. They want to be like what they think society says they should be. The people are too willing to conform to something they're really not created to be. But when you transform, when you nail this mindset piece down, it's a journey from the inside out, because we all have something inside of us and we need to get it out. But what happens is we lock it inside because we worry too much about what the outside forces think, say, or feel. So it's about nailing this down right here. So there's actually this, we call them 6 personal perspectives. That it's a course we teach at Keller Williams, and I'm going to just hit 3 of them real quick, because I could go 3 hours, but I don't think you want to stay that long unless you really want to have a lot to drink. But I'm going to nail this in about 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes, right? So of the 6, the 3 we're going to talk about are mastery, the second is the 80-20 rule. Does everybody know what that is? Yeah, anybody hear the 80-20 rule? We'll get to that. And the other one is called E to P. What that means is entrepreneurial to purposeful. Okay, we want to go from E to P, right? So the first of which is mastery, right? We got to make a commitment. We got to commit to mastery, right? How do we commit to mastery, right? Part of committing to mastery is, Dan, knowing your goals, right? So mastery is about your goals, knowing your strengths and weaknesses. Does everybody know what your strengths are? A lot of us know what our strengths are. Maybe we don't know what our weaknesses are, but it's knowing your strengths and your weaknesses, right? And the third piece to mastery is taking your strengths and your weaknesses, have them come together, work together with them, and so you can come up with the knowledge, skills, and abilities to achieve your goals, right? So that's what mastery is all about. So in mastery, how can we commit to it, right? Dan talked about writing goals down. Write your goals down, right? What else can we do to commit to mastery? What else can we do? Study. What else?
Hire a coach.
Hire a coach. Continuing education, right? So this could be considered, I don't know if anybody needs CE credits. I'll give you some CE credit for being there, right? So hire a coach, studying. Linda, what'd you say again? I'm sorry. Continue education. What else? What else can we do? Read. Learn, but it's not just about the study, not just about the continuing ed. It's not just about hiring a coach. It's actually about putting it into action, right? You can learn all we want to learn. We can read all we want to read. We can watch all the YouTube videos we can watch, right? But if we don't put it into action, we're never going to master it. Never. So we have to get in. We got to get into mastery. So I think I told you the story. Back in 1990. In 1990, I was working at a penny stock brokerage. Right? Everybody know what a penny stock brokerage is? I don't know if they even exist anymore, right? And I left Baltimore, I went to Florida, I'm in Boca Raton, Florida, I graduated from college, and I take this job up in West Palm Beach or Palm Beach, Florida, to be a penny stock broker. How many people seen the movie Boiler Room? Boiler, right? I was the guy under the desk making the calls, right? So So I didn't know what I was getting myself into when I got into it. I just wanted to, coming from the modest background that we came from, I wanted to make money, I wanted to help people. So I got into penny stocks. And I come in one morning, and this guy on his cubicle, on his desk, there's this book, The Greatest Salesman in the World, right? And as I've mentioned before, I got out of college, I thought I was done reading. I hated English, I was a poor English student. I didn't want to read anymore, I didn't take any more tests, I was done. And I pick up this book and I read it, and my life changed. The course of the direction of my life just took another path that I had never anticipated. And since then, it's been 26, 27 years. I've read 800 books plus, somewhere in that range, So that's part of, I'm reading, right? But I guess part of my weakness, I haven't applied everything. 800 books is a lot to take and apply. But over the years, I've tried to apply a lot of what I've learned, what I've read, And I hired a coach at one point. We worked together before, right? I got a company that coaches my real estate team, or me in the real estate now, right? So I'm learning systems and things to implement to make us better, right? So that's the mastery piece. The 80-20, right? So the 20% produces 80% of your results, and 80% produces 20% of your results. Is what you're saying, right? It's called the Vilfredo Pareto, the Pareto principle, right? So what does that mean? I mean, what is that all about? What's that?
P-A-R-E-T-O. He's a French economist.
I thought he was Italian. So again, 20% of your activities is going to generate 80% of your results. What is that all about? That's about focus, right? Focus on what? Focus on the activities, right? I'm assuming, Sharon, Dan, you may have heard this. You ever seen that there's a story they talk about, professor gets up in front of the classroom, right? And he's got a jar, right? So for purposes of tonight, since we're at a bar restaurant, I'm going to make a beer mug here, okay? So the 80-20% principle, again, 20% of your activities produces 80% of your results. So I take this jar, right, and I fill it with 5 big rocks or 6 big rocks, right? Is it full? Did I fill it up with the 5 rocks, 6 rocks? You can't put any more rocks in there, though, right? I can't put any more big rocks in there, right? Somebody play with me. No, so it's full, right? It's full, right? Okay, but really it's not, because when I come back, I'm going to come in and I'm going to put little pebbles in here. I'm going to dump a bunch of pebbles in here, and I got all these pebbles, and I can't fit any more pebbles. Is it full? Yes. No. Wait. just come along with it. So it's not full. So what am I going to do? I'm going to put sand. I'm going to pour sand in it, right? Can't get any more sand. Is it full? At this point, you think it's full. You got sand all the way up here, right? So what's the last thing I'm going to pour in here? Beer. Because we're in a restaurant, we're in a bar, so we're going to put beer in here, and we're going to lather it up with the suds, right? And now is it full? Yes. So what happens is people do the reverse, okay? They pour the beer in first, right? They pour the beer in first, and I fill it up to the top. Is it full? Because I can't put I can't put sand in because it's going to overflow. I can't put pebbles in because it's going to overflow. And I certainly can't put any rocks in there because it's going to overflow. So the big rocks, what do they represent? And you can help me. I know you know what they are. The important stuff in your life. Priorities. So when we wake up every day, we have a gazillion things to do, right? We're in a mad rush to get we got this item, we got like 20 things to do, right? And we just try to, what do we normally do? What do people normally do? What's that? The easiest things, the littlest things first. Let's knock them out. And maybe I have time for the most important things. So these people drank and poured the beer in first, right? Because they didn't set their priorities right. So if we want to master ourselves, and we talked about mastery, we want to master the 80-20 principle, we want to focus on the big rocks first, the most important thing. And that's all about time blocking, right? And Dan, we've been through that years ago, right? It's about time blocking. So when you get up in the morning and you got your calendar, let's say, for those of us that get up at 4 a.m., there's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and so on. So the night before, when I go to bed, right before I go to bed at night, I look at my calendar. I look at my day the next day, and I put everything in where it is, right? The appointments. Then there's some to-dos that I might add up here, right? And I look, what's most important? And when I have my to-dos, I plug them in different times where I can get them done. So I get the most important things done first, and then I hit the easy stuff last. And the thing is, the easy stuff can sometimes wait to the next day, because guess what? Everybody looks in their inbox and email, right? Check your voicemail, check your email. Is it ever empty? Your voicemail maybe, but is your email ever, your inbox ever empty? And Dean, I know you know it's never empty, right? she's just in front of email, right, all day, right? So it's never going to be empty. Your day's never going to be totally clean. So what do we need to do? We need to address the big rocks first. And what happens is, if we got something that's important and it's stressful, I got a client I need to talk to, and it's not going to be a pretty conversation, but it's really important, I might knock out the little stuff first because I don't want to deal with it. But what's happening during the course of the day? My energy is getting drained because in the back of my mind, I'm still worried about the most important thing because I haven't knocked it out yet. What's that? Yeah, I'm drunk, yeah. Maybe I'll drink the beer first and then handle it, right? So this is about time blocking. It's about time blocking. It's the most important thing we can do every day. Block out your time to get your tasks done, focus on those most important items so you can knock the big things out and be on with your day, right? The third piece, you guys with me on that? Yep. The third piece is called E to P. Going from entrepreneurial to purposeful, right? Entrepreneurial is all about, let's do it this way. So this is E and this is P. So entrepreneurial is we all have a natural ceiling that we can hit with our gifts and abilities. We have a natural ceiling that we get up every day, we do our thing, we think the way we think, we do what we do, and we have a natural ceiling. And sometimes you might say to ourselves, I can't break through this. Does anybody ever use those words? Why can't I get further along? Why am I not further than this person? Why haven't I done more with my life than where I'm at? Because what happens is to break that ceiling, to shatter that ceiling, we have to get purposeful. And this is uncomfortable. And we tend to want to stay in our comfort zone, but until we get purposeful, we're never going to break through this ceiling. We're never going to shatter that glass until we get purposeful. What does being purposeful mean? Right? Purposeful means focus on the activities. It means setting up systems, models, strategies, and accountability. You get purpose, what you're focusing on, you focus on your systems, your models, your strategies, you be accountable to that, then you become purposeful. That's when you break this ceiling and you go to another level. That's what E2P is all about. Entrepreneurial versus being purposeful. So again, the purposeful piece is very uncomfortable because you're going into an element that you might not think you're ready for, or that you're afraid of what's going to happen when you break free. Because this ultimately is going to lead to freedom. This ultimately is going to lead to another level of growth that you may not be expecting. But this is where it is. Like right now, I'm in a position. We have 6 people on the team right now. I would question, on a scale 1 to 10, where have I been as a leader? Maybe on the lower end of that. And I really want to work on my leadership abilities, right? And it's uncomfortable for me because I know we're going to try things and I'm going to fall. I'm going to get my knees scraped up, and I'm not going to try that again. But I know I got to keep moving forward. So I'll finish with this because maybe next time we'll do the other 3, and that means you got to come back if you want to hear the end of the story, right? Everybody know who Steve Harvey is? Right? In fact, I was talking about that last week, right? I didn't know Steve Harvey was a preacher, a pastor. I didn't know that. Did everybody know that? He's a preacher, right? And I didn't really know that he was a comedian until I read more about him. I didn't know that. I just thought he was the Family Feud guy, right? That's all I thought he was, right? I thought he was a funny guy on Family Feud, right? So he wrote this book called Jump, right? You know what I'm talking about? Have you seen it? And if you go on YouTube and you type in Steve Harvey and Jump, He's got like a 5 or 6 minute piece. Well, that's another piece. But he's talking to the Family Feud people, at the audience. Yeah. It's a passionate. Yeah, and it's unbelievable, right? So what does this mean? What does it mean to jump, right? Do you want to jump into mastery? Do you want to jump into that 80-20 rule? Do you want to jump into being purposeful? What's going to happen when you do that? You're going to fall down. Like he talks about jumping off a cliff, right? And you got your parachute on. Sometimes the parachute might not open, right? Sometimes it might open and a gust of wind's going to come up and it's going to bang you up against the cliff, right? And you're going to get bloody knees. You're going to bust your elbows up. You even bang your head, right? Well, you're going to keep going down, right? You're going to keep going down to the ground. Eventually, the parachute's going to open up, right? You hope, right? But if we don't jump, and we're always sitting on the sideline, right? Here's the basketball court, right? That's a soccer field, but here's a hoop, and here's a hoop, right? Anyway, so are you in the stands watching the game of life go on around you? Like, have you ever seen or feel like people are just zooming by you, right? People just moving ahead in their life, and you're like in this place, you're just stuck, right? Maybe because you might be too busy on the sidelines watching the game of life, watching everybody else score the goals or the basket, watching everybody else have these huge successes. Because maybe we're afraid to jump in the game. Maybe we're just afraid to scrape our knees a little bit. Maybe we're afraid to bang our head. Maybe we're afraid to fail and not pick it up and go back in the game. Maybe that's what it is. So I watched the video, and then I read the book. And the book is awesome, you know. So now I'm a big Steve Harvey fan, you know. So I would encourage you, one, to commit to self-mastery. Commit to that. 2, focus on your 20%. Focus on the 20. The 20 is the most important thing we can focus on every day, and it's going to produce the biggest results for us. And then focus on being purposeful, because when you're purposeful, life's going to change, right? And then we come back next time, I'll get you with the other 3. So, got to keep you on edge a little bit, right? So, again, thanks for coming out. Nice night. I know you could be out either getting your garden ready for the spring season. It's really not happening. And right? We went from winter to summer again. And I just appreciate you all being here, you know? So thank you.